Magna Carta is the foundation of our liberties. It's why we have rights. Now, that may seem like an eccentric thing to say about a document that's 800 years old this year. It's so ancient that it was written in Latin on vellum and sealed in wax. It has no formatting. We're lucky there's any punctuation. But the core elements of decent public order are in there, especially a fair system of law, one that applies equally to everybody. Security of the person and of possessions. The state cannot rob or murder you. The right to a say in the laws under which you live, including the tax laws. The whole idea that citizens own the government instead of the other way around, it's in Magna Carta. And remarkably, the free men who brought bad King John to heel at Runnymede and made him put his seal on it weren't looking forward imaginatively. They weren't projecting. They believed they were protecting ancient liberties that had been challenged by the king and needed to be written down more clearly and more firmly so they would last. And it worked. The liberties in Magna Carta were challenged again and again, but every time they were squeezed, they weren't broken. They were put into a harder and sharper form.
In 2010, while a copy of Magna Carta was on display in the Manitoba legislature, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II unveiled a stone from Runnymede that became the actual cornerstone of the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. You see, when we say that Magna Carta is the foundation of our liberties, we mean that literally.
The law wasn't perfect back in 1215, of course. It had to be refined and adapted. The protective circle that it drew was too narrow, sometimes tragically so. But within that circle, there was a political order worth cherishing, worth defending, worth extending, and worth imitating. How could there be liberty under law in England coming out of the Dark Ages when it didn't exist in most of the world and in too many places tragically still doesn't? How was it able to withstand the challenges that overwhelmed it, even in most of Europe in subsequent centuries? How did it work in practice? How does it affect us today? What threats and challenges exist to this system now? And how can we be sure that we will pass on to our posterity the blessings of liberty that we inherited from our ancestors? Please help me to tell the remarkable story of Magna Carta, the cornerstone and foundation of our rights and liberties.